Boom shakalaka. Happy Taco Tuesday. You're live on BROfessor BATS and Friends. Welcome to
This video.
Hey, it's time to turn off the video, put it on photo.
Emotional, damn it!
Victory! Razorbacks, you are in the house. That's what I'm talking about. That is just for our man. Just for our man. I brought it out of hiding right here. The big Woo Pig Razorbacks.
All right, so here's a true story. I actually used to own one of those, but it wasn't the newer model that you have.
Oh my goodness. Fun times and funner times to come. Welcome to BROfessor BATS Off-Road and Friends Talk Radio Show. Live taping of the podcast, number one podcast on all the channels, starting tonight. You just watch, I promise.
Okay.
Oh man, it has been a day. Tony, welcome to the show. How are you, buddy?
Thank you. I'm doing really good.
I really love your shirt and hat. I don't know where you got that, but you know, it looks like we know what we're doing.
That's right.
I'm telling you, it looks like we know what we're doing.
Go
We all
explore,
have coordinated our attire, just like seventh grade girls who texted each other this morning and said, "Hey, what are you wearing?" And we all showed up to school with the same thing on. So I'm pretty excited about that. You know, whether we do know what we're doing or not, we look like it. So that's all
right.
that matters. We look good. That's all.
That's right.
Well, we had a great time this past Saturday. Tony and I did.
It was a great weekend.
It was a little different. I had planned to go out and try out some of my new equipment, and I actually, but my wife's mom went into the hospital, so I didn't go out Friday night. But Saturday, I went into the Ouachitas. Turkey hunters were everywhere, and I finally found a little spot to pull off the road, set a few things up, try a few things out that were new, and I got my coffee made, and I was sitting there, and I actually had cell service. And Tony sends a picture that says, "This is what we're doing today. We're going to Car Wash Falls, and we're going to this place and this place and this place up in the Ozarks, and we're showing Misty Tokarski, Barefoot Overlander from Lady Overlander Radio. We're showing her around in the Ozarks." And I'm thinking, I ain't got nothing to do. And I texted him back. I said, "Tony, I want to go." And he said, "Come on." So we went up there. He didn't tell Arla I was coming. And I got to a certain place, and I had on my Midland radio, and they were talking on their Midland radios, and I heard them coming. And so I stopped, and I pulled off side of the road. And when she topped this hill, I had the biggest bro pose going that you have ever seen. And I heard her say on the radio, "Well, there's Joey." And I thought, this is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. So we spent the day showing Misty around. Car Wash Falls was rolling. I mean, It sounded like 500 people were dropped on my hood when that thing hit. It was so freaking cool. I loved it. It was a great day. Had a good day.
Yeah, she was real shocked. Come over the hill, and she saw your rig sitting there, and she was like, "What?
Yeah.
Joey?
Yeah.
Joey's here."
Yeah. I got to do Car Wash Falls 3 times that day because we went through it. Or I went through it trying to get to them, and then back through it going to Hall Creek Falls. And then I asked Tony, I said, "Tony, how are we going to get from here to OARC store?" And he said, "Well, I hadn't really thought about that." And I said, "Well, there's really only 2 ways to go. One of them is back the way that we came, and the other one is through about a 19 feet deep river right now on the other side of the Union Schoolhouse." And I said, "I think we better go back the way that we came." So we went back the way that we came. My vehicle is so clean. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, it was until we got past there and I got dirty again. But we got to take her to OART Country Store. She'd never been there and ate a burger and had a piece of pie, so that was pretty cool. But
And the fire tower.
oh, and the fire
I
tower.
got to see the fire tower for the first time.
Fire tower up on Devil's Knob.
Yeah.
So, but it was fun. It was fun. I finally got all my parts and got all my tent finally installed. That was an ordeal, but it's finally up there. And I did 80 down the interstate, so I know now it's not going to come off. Didn't have a whole lot of wind noise. I was real excited. Didn't hurt my gas mileage at all. So I was pretty pumped about that. And everything fit. It looks good. Don't you think it looks good?
It looks really good.
It does look good. I mean,
you can't see daylight between it now.
I look at it and I'm just like, man, that looks freaking good. I went outside this morning and I almost ran into my patrol car looking back at the FJ. And you know, when you do that,
you almost biffed it, didn't you?
You know that you've got the right rig.
That's right.
Man, I'm excited. But we have with us tonight a very special guest, someone that is near and dear to me. One of my dear friends, Brad Brazel with GoXplorUSA. Brad, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Joey and Tony, I appreciate y'all very much. I'm just honored to be here, to be honest with you. And I thank y'all again for having me. So I think I'm supposed to introduce myself. So I'm Brad Brazel. I have a new business that I've started, GoXplorUSA, and we'll get to that here in a little bit. And but yeah, so I'm actually an Arkansas native. I was born in Russellville, Arkansas, and I lived there up until my teenage years, and then I moved to Louisiana. And now I have finally lived in Mississippi. I have been here for about 6 years and was an Arkansas fan for the longest. But now that I live in Oxford, Mississippi, when you live in Rome, you have to do as the Romans do. So I have fallen in love with Ole Miss. And
why have you fallen in love with Ole Miss, Brad? Just give me one reason. I just don't understand. I don't understand.
Atmosphere.
Okay.
I will be the first one to tell you we don't win all the games. We don't win some of the games we should. We win some of the games we shouldn't. So I'm a thick and thin fan.
It sounds like you're talking about Arkansas.
I was fixing to say it's the same way up here, bro. We just started winning stuff this year. We're not used to this. We really don't know what to do.
I know it. It's strange times.
I love Ole Miss baseball. That's probably my favorite. However, we went from number one in the country to we may well be last now. I'm not exactly sure, but we've had some good games. You know, they've been exciting. You know, we've had some really close games, and that's what it's about. You know, it's not really about who wins and who loses. It's just, is it a good game to me? You know.
Yeah.
So anyway, I got a daughter that's graduating this year. She'll be going to Ole Miss next year. So we're excited about that. And, man, just glad to be here, glad to be a part of the Overland community. And just really looking forward to getting into this thing tonight with y'all.
Yeah.
Well,
many of you may know Brad from Natural State Overland. Every year at the rendezvous, he's there making sure everybody was taken care of.
Where's the big hat?
Yeah, the sombrero.
Yeah.
Oh.
Last year it came in real handy, didn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So Brad made sure that I got me a hat, and I can barely fit in my house with this thing. It's so big, but I promise you, it is cheaper than any awning out there, and as big as one. And so I think if you need one of these, talk to the people from Big Elk, and they'll get you one. And for $25, you can have one of the biggest awnings that's out there in the overland world. And there's not a drop of rain that'll get on you if you have one of these. So
that's right.
Big Elk is where you get those, huh?
Yeah, pretty amazing.
Okay.
Now I went. Now I knew Brad was coming on the show tonight, and pretty much some of the only times that I've seen Brad is either at a Moore Expo or at a Natural State event like that. So I kind of stalked your Facebook page, and I got to thinking I've never seen Brad without a hat. Never seen Brad without a hat. So I did find a picture of Brad without a hat, and that don't look anything like you.
That's not Brad.
It's weird.
That's his doppelganger. That can't be Brad.
Well, and even
amazing wife right there.
Yeah, yes, I agree. Better half. But then I kept scrolling a little bit, and I found a picture of Brad with no hat and no beard.
I know, right? That's a good friend of mine's daughter got baptized that night, and
oh my goodness, I have.
Who is that guy?
I would have never pictured that. That threw me back a little bit, Brad. I just don't look like you, but anyway, it was neat going through all your pictures. There's not a whole lot of pictures of you, so it was good to go through all your pictures and meet your family that way. We actually got to meet your daughter before the show started, and she's a senior this year and graduating. And I know you're busy with all that. Senior years are just magical. And I know she's having a great time with that. Yeah. And did you say that she's going to be a rebel as well?
She will be, yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, continue the tradition. This is probably one of the first times I've ever seen you without your Ole Miss hat on, because you've always had that hat on.
I got it right here.
I know you keep it close. You probably sleep with it on. So
Yeah.
Oh, well, tonight we're going to do something completely different. We've never done this before. We're adding a new segment to the show, and Tony doesn't even know about this. Brad doesn't know about this, but I want to spend a little bit of time each week getting to know the people that we're interviewing. So, I may know Brad a little bit, but I want to know him a little bit better. So here we go. We're going to get to know Brad a little bit.
Who are you? 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 I really want to know.
So here's how this segment goes. I spent a lot of time putting that together, so I thought that
looked
great. Here's how this segment goes. I will give you a question, and you will give me a short answer.
Okay.
Just a few questions, but just a short answer. And that way, at the end of this, we'll feel like we've known each other for an eternity. It'll just be, it's taking down the walls. It's tearing the walls down, Brad. So that's what we're doing. We know sometimes we build walls up and we try to keep to ourselves, but we're going to let the walls down, and we're going to bring out everything. Tony, come back with us, Tony. Okay, here we go. Question number 1, Brad. Who is your hero?
Who is my hero? Wow. Wow.
Who would be a hero in your life?
I guess like in my life today, yeah, you stumped me here. All right, so
question number 1. Goodness.
Yeah, number 1, I'm already out. Okay, so if there's one person I strive to be like, it's got to be Jesus Christ. There's no other answer to that, and that's just a huge part of my life. I try not to push my religion on folks by any means, but I also hope to live my life in such a way that I represent Christ. And if there's any one thing or one person that I look up to, it would be him. I try not to put too much stock in people as a whole. People are great and people are, beneficial for sure. And, we all need each other. However, we're all human. And at one point or another, I'm going to let you down. You're going to let me down. And if I don't put you up on a pedestal, then it really doesn't give me the opportunity to harbor hard feelings, if you will. In my mind, we can just carry on because I just look at it like, hey, it's all right. Let's go on.
Awesome. Question number 2: if you could live anywhere in the world, where would you live?
Obviously, I would prefer living in the United States, but outside of the United States, it would be New Zealand.
New Zealand.
New Zealand
really?
Is a place. Yes.
Wow.
If you ever get an opportunity to go to New Zealand, you need to do that.
Awesome.
My goal, I will have arrived when I can do a guided trip in New Zealand. And
that would be cool.
I'll be signing up for that one.
I may or may not have a route already built.
Oh man!
It didn't Epic Family Road Trip? Didn't they go over to New Zealand for like a month or something, or longer, a couple months?
I don't know.
I think they did.
Stumped me on that.
Yeah, I think they did.
Stumped me on that.
They shipped their rigs over, and then anyway. Never mind.
I got to spend about a week in the North Island of New Zealand, and it was phenomenal. It's just doesn't even cover it. You can go from the beach in the north to having penguins in the south, and everything in between. The mountain terrain, the lakes, the trails. It's amazing. So obviously USA first, probably New Zealand second.
What is your biggest phobia?
Ooh. Man, I don't know. I don't like confrontation that much. How about that?
That's not what I expected.
Yeah, I'm a pretty positive guy, and I don't know, my phobia. Like, I'm not scared of spiders or snakes or anything like that. I'm not scared of the dark. Yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe letting people down would be a phobia of mine.
Yeah.
I don't like to disappoint people. I do my best to be real and if you expect something of me, regardless of what it is, I want to provide that. And, if I can't, I guess that's a fear of mine. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, hey, Steve, I see Steve posted a thing. He's signed up for my trip in the Ozarks.
Awesome. Well, we're definitely going to be talking about that. And maybe when we get through talking about it, he'll still want to be signed up. Let's see. Question number. I got two more. If you could choose to be anyone in the world for a day, who would it be?
Oh man, anyone in the world for a day.
Man, that's a tough question. There's a lot of people out there in the world I'd want to be for a day. I'd want to be Elon Musk today. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah,
he's got to be feeling pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like one of those questions. Like, if you could talk to anybody in the world that's dead or alive, who would it be? I just don't know. Anyone I could be for a day. I would probably. I don't have a name in mind, but I would love to be able to, spend a day in a culture that I'm not familiar with, and just be immersed in that culture. Like I said, New Zealand, Australia, someplace like that, and just be a part of the culture for a day. Somebody that lives that life, I think that would be epic.
Yeah, I was thinking when you were talking about that, I was thinking Graham Bell. If I could be Graham Bell for a day traveling through South America right now, that'd be pretty epic. Okay, changing courses a little bit. If you could only eat one meal a day for the rest of your life, what would that meal be?
That's easy, man. Pizza.
Pizza.
Yeah, you can put anything on a pizza.
Great.
Have you ever had great pizza?
Huh?
You ever had great pizza?
Actually, I have. They have it here. That's pretty darn good.
I love it.
Yeah. So, you can put pineapple and ham. You can put steak, hamburger, sausage. You can put anything you want to on a pizza, man.
That's right.
So
that's right.
You can even put pasta on a pizza if you wanted to.
Macaroni and cheese.
Yeah,
I've had macaroni and cheese pizza. It's amazing.
Yeah, I don't know if that's cheating or not, but that's what I'm sticking to it.
I tell you, the great pizza blew my mind.
Oh, great pizza is so good. West Virginia is the only place I've ever seen it. But I've had pizza in Romania, and they put a big dollop of mayonnaise right in the middle of it.
Ew.
I never understood that, and didn't eat it. I've had pizza in Sicily where they put the olives with the pits on there. I almost broke a tooth because I'd never had an olive with a pit in it. But the it's different over there. But I've had pizza all over the world. It's good. But man, that's awesome. Thank you for answering my questions. I appreciate that. Letting us know a little bit about what's on the inside of Brad.
There you go.
So, anyway. But we've come to another portion of our show that we like to take just a little bit of a break and talk about our sponsors and give thanks to our sponsors. So we're going to do our sponsor spotlight.
It's now time for the Sponsor Spotlight, talking about all the products, services, events, and businesses that we use and love. Here we go.
Who's our sponsor spotlight this week, Tony?
Midland
Radio.
USA. Yes.
Now, let me tell you, when Brad thought about this Go Explore USA, I'm sure one of the first things that he thought about leading a group of people was communication. If you don't have good communication, you're not going to have a good group. And we are sponsored by Midland Radios, and we've been doing a giveaway for this radio right here. This is a Midland Micro Mobile 15-watt 15 channels, 8 repeater channels, 10 weather channels, and fast USB charging GMRS two-way radio. We had over 137 people get in our drawing, and we're going to do the live drawing right now. Right now, I have put all the names in a random picker, and Tony's doing a drum roll, and we're going to do this. And right now, Mason wishes he was me because this is what Mason does so well. So I'm going to hit this thing right here that says pick one. And it's going to go right down through there and weed out all the non-winners. And it's going to pick a winner, and everybody's disappearing. And there goes, boom! Overland Spices is the winner of our giveaway. And that's really funny because they were actually the company that did our last giveaway. So, Tate, you are the winner. And I will get with you about getting this radio to you. And I appreciate everybody for getting in there and entering this. Now, I believe, Brad, you said earlier that Midland is also sponsoring Go Explore USA. Is that correct?
They are absolutely sponsoring Go Explore USA, and I am very grateful to them. So one of the things that, like Joe was saying, it's very important that everybody in a group have a radio. And so I was talking to them at the More Expo, and I was talking to Olivia, and she said, yeah, we would love to help you out. And so we ended up, after we got back home, we exchanged a few emails, and so they sent me enough radios that I'm able to put a radio in the hand of each vehicle that goes with us on our trips. And they'll get a chance to use that radio while they're on the trip. And, let's see, hopefully they'll like it. And if they do, great. They can get one. Otherwise, they'll know, how important communications are for sure. So, super happy to have them on board with Go Explore USA.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. And Jared, that is not true.
That's not true.
Great Pizza did not put Tony in the hospital. It was something else. He's neglecting himself, and it's Dr. Pepper's or Mountain Dews. Mountain Dews, right, Tony?
Yeah, it's not Dr.
Mountain
Pepper's.
Dews put Tony in the hospital. So we determined that it was not the Great Pizza. I promise. Oh my goodness. Well, Brad, tell us about how in the world you got into the world of off-road. Where did that begin in your life?
Man, I took my very first overland trip in 1991, May 12th or 14th, I can't remember, one of the two. Me and a buddy of mine, Randall Elliott, we're still friends to this day, friend of mine in high school. The night I graduated, the very next morning, we got up at 5 a.m. and headed to Colorado. And most everybody else in our grades went, on a cruise or to the beach or whatever. He and I loaded up in his regular cab, GMC, four-wheel drive, stick shift, no Z71, no lockers, nothing but a 8274 Warren on the front and some Biff Goodrich. And
did it have the hub? You had to get out and twist the hubs on the actual axles to get it to lock in.
He had two of those trucks. One of them had the manual hubs, one didn't. I don't remember. I don't think this particular one had the manual hub, but I know the other one did.
Yeah.
Which we wanted them. I just don't think they offered them at the time on that newer model. So, so we literally went to Colorado. This was before, right at the time where, cell phones were not something that, 19-year-old kids ran around with.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a road atlas, and that's it. And we spent a week wandering through Colorado and ended up, you can still find it on a map. Have you ever been to the Great Sand Dunes in Colorado?
Look at this.
That's what I'm talking about. There you go.
I still have my road atlas from back when I was a truck driver in 1994. And I mean, this thing, it's probably all the highways probably ain't even seen in the same places anymore. But I still have this thing and still look at it every now and then.
I've got one. It's packed away in the closet.
Yep. So we spent a week running around and just the two of us, and man, we had such an adventure on that trip. Mount Blanca is right around where the Great Sand Dunes National Monument is. I don't know if y'all have ever been there or not, but we ended up driving in May. We drove to the top of Mount Blanca in his truck, and when we got up there, there was a lake, and of course it was frozen over because the top of the lake was still covered in snow, top of the mountain. And we were literally winching through snowdrifts that were 14, 15 feet tall. And they're only like 20 or 30 feet wide, but, it was just a huge mound of snow. And that trip was such an adventure for me and something that I never forgot. And from then on, I've had Jeeps, I've had Broncos, I've had pickup trucks, I've had all kinds of stuff over the years. And it's just kind of a deal that has morphed from that time. And I mean, I call it an overland trip today. We just went camping, that's what we called it back in '91. And, but when we did the same thing, and just that adventure of going someplace that's not familiar and seeing some of the stuff that we saw. And, those are the things that you remember forever. And, that one trip is what hooked me forever. So
that's cool. That's cool. Well, I know that you, up till recently, you did have a Jeep. This was your Jeep.
Yep.
What Jeeps are always in like letters, so I don't know what the letters are on this.
That is a 2005 TJ Rubicon.
TJ. So Jeep likes to put letters together, just not in a row. A lot like FJs, but it's a TJs, RJ, JK, whatever. And then they get special, and then they put the JKU, and then they had somebody intelligent come in there so they could add a third letter in there. But now they're on the LJs, YJs, whatever.
JKUR.
There you go.
Really?
Yes. Rubicon.
Wow. Well, that just blew somebody's mind right there when you said that. Like my Harley is an FLSTX. Exactly. So it's just a freaking, ultra classic is all it is. They just put a lot of letters in there to make it fancy and more pricey. But you have recently upgraded big time. I mean, big time. To the Tacoma. And you have nicely put GoXplorUSA on here. Tell us what you've done to your Tacoma to make it overland ready.
All right. So the first thing that I always tell people, and of course, it's kind of like the guy that cuts grass for a living. He never cuts his own grass, The first thing that I always recommend is a good set of sliders. Unfortunately, that was almost the last thing I put on my truck. But I put some good dealer sliders on it. I have I believe it's a 2 or 2.5 inch Old Man Emu lift with the Dakar leaf springs, the heavy packs on the back. Mm-hmm. I have an ARB classic front bumper, which there's so many front bumpers out there today, and so many of them look just so good. But man, there's something about the ARB on a Toyota, man. It's like it just almost belongs there, And and if you notice on that truck, the 2 fog lights that are on the front, those actually, I've had those on about 4 different vehicles over the years. The 2 round ones in the front,
Yeah.
With white covers. I had those on my TJ. I had them on my old CJ5. I mean, my old CJ7 rather, and I had them on my old Bronco. I had a '79 Bronco at one time.
Oh wow!
So those are kind of like a required accessory, if you will.
Like your calling card. That's the first thing
Yeah.
you see on any of your vehicles is 2 white lights on the front.
That's right. So, yeah, I actually talked to somebody, my son-in-law, the other day about powder coating those for me because they're getting kind of rusty and looking kind of rough. So maybe I can get them repowder coated and put them back on there. But yeah. So I also have a. I did the. I don't know. I don't think those are mid-rack bars on the bed. They're not tall because they don't stick above the cab.
Right. They're somewhere in between. Yeah,
they're somewhere between, and I thought they were perfect. I wish I could recall who built them, but anyway, so I got those, and they're made also of DOM tubing, which is really strong. Helps keep the bed from spreading apart from the weight of the tent. Mm-hmm. I added a CVT Mount Baker, I believe, tent is what it's called, hard shell. I was in the process of, trying to figure out what I was going to do with the bed. At one point, I had a camper shell on it, and really liked the camper shell. But the camper shell I got it used, and it was made for my truck. However, it was an older design, and I couldn't get it to quit leaking. I mean, every time it would rain, I would get water inside my truck, and as long as if it was just like my camping gear, it wouldn't be that big a deal. But when you're trying to sleep in there with your bedding and all that stuff, and every time it rains, it gets wet, that got old pretty quick. And I tried everything I could to get it to seal out, and couldn't get it to seal out. So I said, you know what, I'm going with a rooftop tent, and I'm glad I did. I love the rooftop tent that I have. It's actually like a full size bed, if you will. Mm-hmm. I added the roof rack is there simply to hold my solar panels. I have 2 solar panels that I picked up on Amazon at a reasonable price. They are basically, if you hold a Rhenology panel next to these panels, they're called like HJQs or something, I forget. They are identical to.
Do you see Rick's comment on there? Do you see Rick's comment on there?
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah. Thanks, Rick.
Oh, Jeep guy, right?
Yeah.
So I got 200 watts of solar on the roof. I got I've got that connected to my Red Arc BCDC controller, which that was a game changer for me.
Same.
Blessed to have anti-gravity batteries supporting us also. So I'm running some LiPo batteries that they provided for us, and man, between the charger and the batteries and the solar, I am at no loss for power. I can charge anything. People ask, why do you need solar panels? Well, solar panels I don't really need when I'm on a trip. I need solar panels when I'm not on a trip. They keep my batteries charged while my truck's sitting in the driveway.
Same.
Because I have a work truck and I drive my work truck to work. I don't drive my truck every day. And so it may sit a week. And if I'm not cranking the truck and running it, then my batteries will go dead, because I keep my fridge in my truck all the time, and it stays running all the time. And so the solar panels are more to keep everything maintained when I'm not on a trip. Because when I'm generally driving all day, or at least several hours during the day. And with that Red Arc BCDC controller, within a few hours, it's going to top those batteries off. And, that's not a problem. The problem comes in when it's parked and you're not using your stuff. That's when you have a problem with your batteries going down. And that's what really hurts your battery life and things of that nature. So I also added, I have a water system on my truck. I've got 12 gallons of water. I have a pump and a filter. I have the ability to for example, take a 5-gallon bucket and set it beside my truck and pump water out of that bucket through a filter and into my tank so I can use it later, or I can pump it out of the bucket into the filter and use it as a shower, if you will, and not use the water in my tank. I can throw a hose in a creek if I need to and filter it before it goes into the tank or whatever. And I can also just hook a garden hose like from the house and fill the tank. So that's pretty convenient. I don't necessarily drink that water. I mostly use it for cleaning and cooking and washing, myself and dishes and things of that nature. Comes in real handy for putting out campfires, things like that. Because we don't want to leave our campfires burning when we leave camp. So I have a 14-gallon extra fuel tank on the truck, and I don't have it wired exactly like I want it to yet. It's on a pump. At some point, I would like to tie it directly to my fuel tank so I can just flip it on going down the road or whatnot. But right now, I do have to stop and actually fill my tank. But the good thing is with that much fuel, if I need to give somebody else fuel, it's not a problem. We've been on camping trips before when we're like, hey, somebody forgot to get gas or whatever before they started, and they're getting kind of low, and it's nice to have a little more than you need. Now, granted, I don't always take 14 gallons because that's a lot of weight and a lot of fuel. However, just knowing that I have that opportunity, is a benefit. I run BF Goodrich Mud Train tires. I've run those, man, for years. I've just always had real good luck with them. I know some people like them, some people hate them. I've, knock on wood, I've not ever cut one on a trail. I run the super skinny tires, which on my Jeep I ran the 1250 wide tires and loved it because I could bump trees and things of that nature in the Jeep. But my Tacoma is different in the way the fenders are and all that, and everything's more tucked under the truck. So I went with the skinny tire in an effort to keep more of the dirt off the truck, and B, I really like the traction that I get from. It seems that the skinnier tread pattern gives me a little bit more contact pressure, and it just goes. I mean, I don't know. I haven't had a wider tire on it, so I don't really have nothing to compare it to on the Tacoma. But I'm very impressed with the narrow tire and how well it does. As far as comms go, I have a Midland. I know I'm supposed to know is it a SXT 175, the 15 watt? That's all the controls are on the mic. I'm supposed to know that off the top of my head, I'm sure, but I can't recall it.
MXT 275.
That's it right there.
We have that one as well in Connie's vehicle.
Yeah.
I love that radio. What I like most about it is the main body of it. I have actually mounted behind the back seat in my truck, and I ran basically a Cat 5 from there under my carpet through my console, and I have a very small, almost cigarette lighter size port that's in my plastic that my microphone actually plugs into. So if I want to, like for example, when I went to More Expo, I took all my radios out because I was staying at a hotel, and I just didn't want all my stuff in the truck because I didn't want nobody to knock out the glass and try to take them. So literally all I had to do was just unplug the microphone, flip the little cap over it, and I mean it's almost invisible that you have a full radio.
Cool.
I have an ICOM 7100 ham radio. I am a ham radio operator. I am licensed to do the basic stuff plus HF. That's a hobby I'm just getting into and really enjoying. There's something about being able to sit in my driveway here in Oxford and talk to somebody in Canada. That's just kind of cool to me. To be able to do that sitting in my truck. And I also have what most people nowadays don't have, and that's a CB. So I'm still rocking a CB. However, for the most part, the reason I have a CB is for when I'm on the interstate going, to a trailhead, especially between Memphis and Little Rock.
Yeah.
it is handy to know where the wrecks are because there's
It
always...
is. Yeah. You know, the last time I used my CB, I passed a truck driver on the way to Rendezvous, I believe was where I was going. And he had left his keys in the door. So he was driving down the interstate and this big wad of keys was in his door. And I got on the CB and actually told him that they were there, and he pulled off and got them. So that's the last time I used it. And but you know, it's there in case, because you know when we first started, it was required on all the rides. Everybody had to have one. And you know, everybody says I'm pulling mine out. Well, the one I've got is a lot like the MXT 275. I think it's the Cobra that's got all the stuff on the head of it. It's not in the way, not doing anything, so I just left it in there.
That's right. I probably have the same one. And to tell you a story about that, it was one day last year. We were in the Ozark National Forest, and we went to the old homestead, and we were sitting there just enjoying ourselves, you know, taking in the sights, looking around, and this 4Runner comes pulling up, and it was a guy and a girl, and the lady was visibly upset, and the guy was visibly panicked. And basically, he's like, "Man, we are lost, and we have no idea where we're going, and we need some help." And we were like, "Hey, you know, we're heading, you know, right towards the highway, and you're welcome to follow us out." And he only had a CB radio, so you know, he was trying to call people and talk to people, but you know, no one's using CB radios right now for the most part. And so I was the only one in the group that could talk to the guy because I was the only one that had a CB radio. So that's another reason I keep it, because you just don't ever know, you know, when you're going to have somebody show up that's all they have.
That's true.
And it worked out great for that, you know.
That's true. That's true. Well, that's cool. I appreciate you sharing with us about your rig. I want to get into the adventure that you have just started with the GoXplorUSA and talk a little bit about that and what's that all about and your dream about that. But we're going to take just a little bit of break. We'll be right back. You're watching BROfessor BATS and Friends.
Hi, this is Jerry from Kembo Tusk.
This is Aaron with Artemis Overland Hardware.
Hi, I'm Matt.
And I'm Kara from Ozark Overland Adventures.
I'm Adam with Oki Overland.
I'm Tate with Overland Spices.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Drew with Rock Squash Designs, here with the Rock Squash.
This is Jeff from Bad Academic Cup.
Hi, I'm Julie, the Overlander next door.
And I'm Phil from Down to Mob.
And you're watching.
And you're watching.
BROfessor
BATS.
Bats.
Bat Crazy.
BROfessor BATS and Friends.
Professor Bats and Friends.
BROfessor BATS and Friends.
The BROfessor BATS and Friends.
BROfessor BATS and Friends.
Sponsored by Artemis Overland Hardware in Springfield, Missouri. More Expo, Tackform Mounts, Trail Rated Coffee, Linson Solar, Howling Moon Tents and Awnings, Big Iron Overland Rally, June 10th through the 12th in West Mineral, Kansas, Mountain Hatch, Lifesaver Water Filters, MC Ranch Overland, Snowmaster Fridges, EcoFlow, Timbo Tusk, Dow Dynamics Lighting, and our good friends at Midland Radio. Thank you for joining our show.
Yeah.
No pros, just bros on this show. Thank you for being here. Here we go.
Oh, I appreciate all the sponsors, and we appreciate everybody joining in on our videos that we were able to do at More Expo. That's always fun. So, Brad, the GoXplorUSA, where in the world did this come from?
All right, so I guess the very beginning of it was, you know, there were times where, you know, when I was with Natural State Overland as a group, we always talked about, hey, how cool it would be to, you know, to lead trails and this, that, and the other, and we just never could get it to work out. And so it come to a point where I was like, man, this is something that I really think would work. And you know, there were some folks that were like, no, you can't do it. You know, this won't work, that won't work. You can't do this, you can't do that. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to sit down and figure this out. And so I sat down and you know, I started asking questions to the people that mattered to, and found out that, you know, a lot of people wouldn't give me answers if I didn't have like an LLC. You know, because they're like, well, you can't do this without an LLC, so we're not going to waste our time, which I get that. So I said, okay, so how do I do that? So I figured that out, and you know, then people started talking to me, and I started doing more and more research, and I'm like, you know, I really believe this can be done. And so through months and months of research and emails and contacting folks, you know, I just came to the conclusion that, yeah, I think this will work. And so, you know, ended up stepping down from Natural State Overland. Randy and I and the group are still on excellent terms. So if you hear anything different, don't believe it. In fact, I talked to Randy just the other day, and he and I talk, you know, pretty much weekly, and, you know, just about, you know, life and work and, you know, all the things that we love to talk about, Overland and all that stuff. So, you know, we're still on excellent terms, and I will be at Rendezvous. Already got a booth picked out and hope to teach a class. So, looking forward to that for sure. But yeah, so in an effort to free up my time and give myself the time to invest in this venture, I stepped down from that and, you know, ended up talking to Matt about it with Ozark Overland Adventures, and he was very supportive and said, "Hey, you know, let's get together on this deal." And I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a great idea," and so we talked to Nathan as well, and of course they're not partners. This is all my deal. However, you know, we are kind of working together, and, you know, Matt's agreed to attend as many of the events as he can, and he's going to shoot a video, which, you know, we've all come to love Matt's videos for sure. And Nathan, you know, he's just an amazing photographer and is very passionate about the overland outdoor photography. And, you know, what a better way to capture your vacation as to have, you know, a professional photographer go on your trip for 3 days. And, you know, he's going to take anywhere from 300 to 500 pictures a day, you know, on this trip, and you'll get to take that home with you to keep. You know, so then I got to looking at locations and things that I wanted to explore, and you know, of course, I know lots about the Ozark National Forest. I know quite a bit about the Washita National Forest. You know, I look at the Washita National Forest as something where you know, the trails are not as hard, but it's beautifully scenic, and there's lots of really interesting things to go look at. For someone that's just getting into overlanding, which is the people that that we're trying to cater to, or, you know, my objective, I say our GoXplorUSA, the objective of this whole business is to get people involved in overlanding that, you know, they've been to the expos, they've seen all the gear, you know, they're watching the videos online. You know, they're like, hey, this is something I want to do, but I just don't really know how to get started. And, you know, if you think back to when you first started doing this, you know, and I know with me, for example, you know, that first trip that we took to Colorado, I'm not going to lie to you, the whole bed of that truck was full of food. We could have stayed out there 6 weeks. Okay, we don't, and we don't want to forget nothing.
Yeah, you know? And like there's not a store out there at all, you know.
To say, we loaded the truck up at home and drove to Colorado, which we lived in Indiana. So we drove with a truckload of stuff all the way to Colorado. And I'm like, why didn't we just stop and buy it once we got there and save all that weight? And get, you know? So, you know, you don't know what to bring. You know, you think, oh, I've got to have thousands and thousands of dollars worth of equipment. You know, if I don't have this name brand that or this name brand this, then, you know, I can't do it. But the reality is, you know, overlanding is not, you know, how big of a mud hole can I go through? How steep of a hill can I climb? How big of a rock can I go over? Or how deep of a river can I cross? You know, those things happen sometimes. However, that's not all it is. You can overland. It's like I was telling people tomorrow Expo. You can overland in a 1972 Volkswagen Beetle with a hammock and an ice chest. You know, you don't have to have, you know, the biggest, baddest, whatever. And I'm trying to give people the comfort to go out Take away some of that animosity they have of, well, can I cook? Can I, do I have the right vehicle? Do I have enough recovery gear? Do I have, enough tools in case I break down? What if I break down? What if I get lost? What if I camp in the wrong spot? What if I end up on a trail that's illegal? I don't know how to read Gaia. I don't know how to use a GPS mapping system. I don't have a radio. All these things that people use as an excuse or have an animosity toward, that might keep them from going. We want to try to give them an opportunity and say, hey, look, it's okay that you don't have a radio. We're going to give you a radio, to use on the trip. It's okay that you don't have recovery gear. We have recovery gear. We have just, we're going to pre-run the trails. Hopefully no one gets stuck. I mean, that's, the object is not to get people stuck, because last thing we want is for somebody to tear up a vehicle or spend the day winching all 8 of us through, an obstacle.
Yeah.
Our goal is for you to go out, for you to enjoy yourself, relax, have a good time, be able to see the sights, be able to look at the points of interest, and not worry about, how do I find a camping spot? How do I do this? How do I do that? We're taking care of all that. And the goal is for when you leave, one of the things is you're going to have a route that you can go back to. You'll know what's out there because you've already been. You can begin exploring from that route and explore on your own, with a friend. The other thing is we allow up to 6 vehicles on a trip. So there'll be 8 total, 2 guide vehicles, and then the 6 participants. Hopefully they will meet people that are like-minded on the same skill level as them. And it might be that they end up overlanding with somebody from that group, for years to come, because they, created a friendship that'll last, we're going to be able to show them also some items that, Joey and Tony, how many times have y'all been through the Ozark National Forest and then later on find that, oh, well, there was a waterfall that you drove, 100 yards from and you never knew it was there?
So many times. All the time.
All the time. So
all the time.
Our goal is to focus our trips and our routes around things like that. That, I mean, some people may know it's there. Some of it may be on the map, but it's really cool. So we're gonna stop. We're gonna go look at things that you may or may not have found or known were even there had you not been on a trip with us. So points of interest, things like that. We're gonna provide everything from the campfire wood. Because y'all know as well as I do that you can't bring outside wood in, so all of it has to be native to wherever you're camping. So we're going to take care of that. We're going to take care of your breakfast. And we're going to feed you something good. We're not going to hand you a Pop-Tart and a juice box and say, have fun and enjoy your day. We're going to
Driver's meeting in 10.
Yeah.
Chris Holloway's coffee at 11.
So we're going to Matt, Nathan, and I are going to handle all the cooking responsibilities and all the cleaning responsibilities for the dishes and all that. So, that's something else you're not going to have to worry about. One thing I hate, and it happens from time to time, and y'all have, I'm sure, have had it happen. You're out on a trail, and one thing leads to another. You're having a great time, and all of a sudden, man, it's dark, and we ain't made camp yet, and we still got to cook. And it's 10 o'clock before you get everything cleaned up, and you're like, I've spent no time by the fire. It's like I came out there to sit by the fire and do nothing. And here I am, 10 o'clock, I'm putting away my last dish, and now it's time to go to bed, So we want to give our customers an opportunity to not have to worry about that. They can go sit by the campfire, enjoy themselves, talk, have a good time, and, we'll call them when dinner's ready. Or we'll bring it to them. Whatever they want. Maybe they prop up their feet and say, just bring me my plate from there,
Yeah, exactly. Well, I looked on your website. You did a really good job of building your website, and that is GoXplorUSA, GoXplorUSA.com. I'd like to encourage everybody to go to that and check it out. But a couple of the things on there really caught my attention when I was looking at it. And one was your mission. Your mission says, and I'll just read this because I don't expect you to know it from memory. At GoXplorUSA, we provide an authentic overland adventure where you will discover new and exciting places without the stress of going solo. And a lot of people, that is a worry. You know, you don't know anybody. You're just getting into it. I had a guy ask me today, is there anybody going to the bonfire? We'd like to hook up with a group. So, you know, there's always people out there looking for others. And not only do you provide a way for people to get together, but you also provide this as a way for people to meet each other, like you said, for future. So without the stress of going solo, mapping your own trails, a lot of people don't know how to do that. They can sit through Matt McClellan's Gaia class 14 times and it's still not click. You know, some people just can't get it. Or ending up on a private or illegal trail. And that's something that a lot of people worry about. GoXplorUSA will do all the hard work for you so you can enjoy the great outdoors. And I think you have really touched on that. You do all the work so people can just go and enjoy themselves. And that's what a lot of people need. Now, for those of us who love the cooking or the different parts of it, you know, it would be a little bit different experience for us. But if you're somebody that just wants to get out there, meet people, enjoy the newness. Maybe you've not been to this place before. It would be such an incredible thing for you to look this up, to go on these and experience this without having to worry about all that the first time. You know, there's something to say about don't dive in to the deep end if you don't know how to swim. And so if you don't want to worry about running out of propane or if you take all the food in your kitchen because you're worried about running out of food, like we have all done, or if you're worried about being too cold, being worried about being out there by yourself, this is the thing for you. It's something very cool. I've actually been on a guided trip like this, and it was actually refreshing to me to experience something different, to not have to cook all the meals and to be able to pull up at camp, pop the tent up, get your chair out, sit around a fire that somebody's already built for you, and just get to visit with everybody. Because otherwise, you know, on a normal trip, you're just, okay, what do we eat? I need to cut this up. I need to cook the chicken. I need to get this done, get the scuttle out. Oh, man, the fire's gone out. Got to go get more firewood. And, you know, and it's just one thing after another. And so having it all done for you in an extremely organized way is good, not just for the novice, but for those of us who want to get out there and just be pampered a little bit.
That's right.
I think you're offering something for everybody.
Yeah. So and again, like you mentioned, some people like to cook. Our objective is to give our customers an opportunity to ask those questions. You know as well as I do, especially being in social media and online, having managed Facebook pages in the past, you know, some people, you ask us what you consider a legit question, and you get hammered by these trolls, you know, and so nobody wants to ask questions anymore. You know, we're giving you an opportunity to actually go out and use your equipment and ask any question you want to. Now, I don't claim to be knowledgeable about every single piece of equipment. Okay, nobody is. All right. However, you know, I've done this enough. Matt's done this enough. Nathan's done this enough that, you know, we can guide you and help you figure that out. You know, like you said, you know, you can sit through 14 of Matt's classes on Gaia, but until you're sitting in your vehicle with that, you know, tablet or that phone in front of you, and you're looking at that map, and you can't figure out how to get the private land use map on your on your thing, that's when you have questions. Is when you're sitting there looking down the dirt road. You know, you got one eye on the dirt road and one eye on the Gaia, and you're like, "Uh-oh, what now?" You know. But if you get on the radio and say, "Hey, Matt, how do I get this map layer to come up on my Gaia?" And he just rattles off to you how to do it over the microphone, or he comes back there and shows you how to do it. I mean, that's what it's all about. You know, I had to learn something. We all have questions. You know, you like to cook, Joey. I know that. I've eaten some of your food. It's amazing. If our customers,
I like to eat. I like to eat Joey's food.
so, if our customers are like, "Hey, I want to help cook," come on. We're gonna.
Yeah.
If you, hey, how do you do that on what you're cooking with? Come on. That's why you're there. You're there to learn, and we're there to answer any question that you might have about anything you want to ask a question about.
It's right there on the website. If you have a question, contact has your email right here under frequently asked questions. It's there for everybody to be able to use. I love this part of your website. This is the information page that you have. So like I said, I've been on a paid guided trip before, and there really wasn't a lot of information put out there. So we really didn't know what to expect. And there were other people that showed up. Now very good friends of mine showed up in a 2021 Forerunner that they had just bought, had less than 1,000 miles on it. And they were like, man, we really don't know where we're going. We haven't really done this a lot. They were worried about getting damage or scratches or anything like that. So you have on here several different questions that explain a lot of things. And if your question is not answered by any of these about what the event consists of, what I need to bring, and so forth, your email's right there. Your question can be answered. And so it tells you the meals that are provided and tells you who's going to be there, the videos you'll get, the photos that you'll get. It lets you know what you need to bring, if you can bring any more people, why book with you, why you're different than everybody else. So that is another thing that you answer with that. And so I love your answer to this. It says, our goal is to provide an authentic overlanding experience. We'll do all the hard work for you so you can show up, relax, and get closer to nature. We scout the areas for the best spots to camp, locate points of interest, and you just go on and go on and go on. So you're not out there saying, hey, we're better than everybody else, or we have a better experience than everybody else. You just legitimize what you're doing for those who put their confidence and send money your way. You're going to give them exactly what they paid for.
Right. And I think one of the things that, my slogan, I guess, if you will, is an authentic overland adventure, because, we're going out and we're going on an overland trip. You know as well as I do that you can plan all you want to plan, but when you get out there, things happen, terrain changes, trees fall. You're coming down the trail that you went down yesterday, and now all of a sudden, there's a tree across the road. What do you do now? If it's your first time in the woods, do you know how to navigate around that if you can't cut that tree and move it? Do you know how to safely remove a tree off the trail? Do you have the equipment to do that? Maybe not. So what do you do if you have a flat tire? Well, it might be that somebody gets a flat tire. And, if that happens, we're going to show them, the safe, proper way to fix that. We've had tires come off the bead that we were able to reseat without even taking the tire off the truck. Just do it right there on the trail. And, I would say most people probably don't know how to do that.
Can of hairspray and a long ladder. Back in the old days, we always carried a bottle, some Aquanet with us, but I don't even know if you can get that anymore. That was the most flammable stuff on earth.
That's right. A ratchet strap goes a long ways too.
Yeah.
So, So I mean, it's things like that. I'm not gonna tell you that it's not gonna rain. I'm not gonna tell you that it's not gonna snow 8 inches like it did on us in Kentucky. It's just it's a real deal. We're going to go out, we're going to have fun, and we're going to take it as it comes. And, things happen, and we'll deal with it as it comes. And hopefully everybody leaves, better educated and with their questions answered that, they might have had before they come out. And our goal, is to, obviously we would like for people to take more than one trip with us. However, our ultimate goal is for them to go out and be able to do this on their own and enjoy the overland lifestyle. Whether they do it once a year or full time. And like you said earlier, Joey, we're catering to the new folks. However, seasoned veterans are more than welcome, and I promise you'll have a good time and you'll see some stuff. If I've always said too, if you're doing solo trips across the North and South America, we might not be something that you're interested in. However, you're still welcome, and I think you'll have a good time.
Yeah.
I think my wife has pinched the grandbaby. So if you hear a baby squealing in the background, that's what's going on. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. Papa does not pinch the grandbaby. It's so funny because I start the show off and my bulldog is laying on the floor snoring. I don't know if y'all heard him, but he hacks and snores and farts and all that. So I got to deal with that. And then she gets on with the grandbaby and she pinches her and she cries. So anyway, it's a live show, folks. That's what you get when you watch. It's a live show.
You get what you get. You don't throw a fit.
Get what you get, throw a fit. You don't have to be here, but I appreciate you being here. Now, Brad, I want you to talk about the upcoming trips that you have. You've got 2 planned for this year and 1 planned for next year on your website.
That's right. So our first trip for this year will be in September 9th through the 11th, and that's to the Washington National Forest. That trip is going to be, like I said, there's not a lot of hard terrain. The trails tend to be wider there, so you're less likely to get the brush marks and things of that nature. So that would be an excellent trip for people with full-size vehicles or stock vehicles. I know one of the guys that I have signed up right now has a completely stock, I believe it's an 03 TJ, and I think
that's
he's
a
on
Jeep, right?
Yep, Jeep TJ, yeah. That's right.
Come on.
Sorry.
You're killing me.
Yeah. So, but I mean, that's a perfect vehicle for that trip. Now, granted, there is a limit as far as when I say full size. I hesitate to bring, a 4-door, 1-ton long bed 4-wheel drive on an overland trip because I just don't know how that would work. But, if you have something in the 140-inch wheelbase range, I think you'll be fine. So the next trip that we have planned is in November 4th through the 6th, and that will be in the Ozark National Forest. And that particular trip is going to be centered around waterfalls for the most part. And that trip will be a little more, there'll be a little bit more technical terrain to deal with. However, most stock vehicles will be just fine. That one may not be so good for full-size vehicles, not because they're not capable. It's the width that we worry about. So, I've had a few people say, "Hey, I'm driving this. Will this work?" For the most part, I've given them an okay, on what they're driving. I kind of like as long as Matt's truck will run through it. As far as the width goes, then they'll be fine. So, and then of course the next trip that we have planned in March of 2023, March 22 through 26 is Section 1, as we're going to call it, of the Kentucky Adventure Tour. And the reason it's called Section 1 is because that's actually a 1,000-mile loop, and obviously we can't do that in a short trip. So we're going to break that up into different pieces, and that's going to be kind of broken into sections, and it may be that we do that in maybe 4 or 5 sections. There's another Daniel Boone Backcountry Byway loop at the very top that we may make that a whole nother day or a whole nother trip rather. So, eventually we'll get all the way around it, but that's all we've got mapped out so far. Probably in December of this year, we will probably add more trips to the calendar for next year. The ones especially towards the end of the year. I know people, some people have to pick vacations and things of that nature, at the end of the year. So we want to make sure we've got stuff out there that they can sign up for and make plans for. However, it'll also be based on interest, depending on what locations people are interested in going to. We'll probably go back to there's so much stuff to explore in the Ozark National Forest. We'll probably always have a trip there. And it'll be different. We won't always go on the same route. We'll change it up. Probably end up, naming those some way, form, or fashion, so you'll know if it's one you've been on already or not. But so yeah, I mean that's the plan so far. I've had a very positive response from especially the people in the Overland community. I was blown away at the More Expo at how many people that are in the industry that came up to my booth and said, "Hey, what can we do to help you?" Overland Spice. In fact, we've been talking yesterday and at the event and all that, and they're going to help us out. We're going to be using their spices on our trips. Got to speak with Got Your Six Coffee. Working on a deal with them, maybe sponsoring our coffee for breakfast. What an awesome thing that would be. And of course Midland, talked to them and they were super supportive. I had other vendors, that were like, "Hey, tell me about what you're doing because I think this is awesome." And they're like, "What a great concept, to help people get involved and help them, get started in their journey." There's a place for rooftop tents and really expensive trailers and all that kind of stuff, but for the most part, you don't just show up on day one with a $60,000 trailer behind an $80,000 vehicle and say, "Hey, let's figure this out." You generally start with whatever you've got sitting in the driveway, the cooler that you used for all the kids' ball games, and whatever tent was in the attic that Dad used to use, or whatever the case may be, or the one at Walmart, which there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. A lot of my stuff that I use today come from Walmart, but you don't know what you need until you get out there and you get to doing it and you just figure it out. And I know me, for one, have spent money on things that I thought I needed, get out there and they're like, "Oh, this is a horrible idea," They're like, "Well, all these different things have been in my kit at one time or another, and now they're just sitting on the shelf in the garage, because I have a 2-use rule, and if I can't use it for 2 things, it probably ain't going to make it on the truck, So that kind of stuff, and but you don't know that stuff until you get out there and get to doing it and learn.
I know you've changed this recently, and we do have a question about it on the show. So the price they're showing is different than the price on the website on my phone. So you've changed the pricing on the website, and it's because I think it's you're asking for half down now and half later. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, so let me show you right here, Tracy. If you click on the Ozarks one and click select, if you go down, it's 50% deposit for one vehicle, one driver, and one passenger. So that's what that is, and that will be self-explanatory on that. So I know up until just a few days ago, you had that. It was a little different. You had the total prices on there, and now you've got the down payment.
Yeah. Okay. So I see exactly what she's talking about, and yeah, you're right on that. For some reason, the website, the way it does, and maybe somebody smarter than me can figure this out. But if I put the full price on that other section, it doesn't work out right when you go to check out. So I don't know. It's a thing with the software. So I had to explain that, especially like on the homepage, like under events where it says it gives you the price. Then it says 50% deposit. And then, like Joey said, when you're actually signing up, hopefully it explains it a little better. So if you got any more questions, hit me up on the website. There's all kinds of contact us locations on there. I'll be glad to explain anything that I can.
Hey, Kara, thanks for joining us. We appreciate you being on here. I think Kara's got the night off. She had to reschedule her show for tonight that she had. The lady she was going to interview actually got hurt working on her Jeep. So I hate to hear that. So I hope she recovers and you get to do that, Kara. So tell us, where do you think, Brad? Tell us where do you see this going 5 or 10 years down the road? Where would you like it to be 5 or 10 years from now?
Wow.
So my goal is, obviously fairly close to home. The objective is to have 5 to 6 trips a year, and then every couple of years drop 2 off and add 2, and then typically as things progress and as I get more familiar with other locations and things of that nature, then we will rotate trips all the way through. And then at some point, we'll go back and pick up a trip that hadn't been on the market, on our website for, 3 or 4 years. We'll add that back if it was a popular trip. But, it might be a trip that nobody was interested in going on for whatever reason. I'm sure there's going to be trips that are going to be more popular than others. It just goes to reason. But, hopefully, will it expand, say, to Colorado and New Mexico and places like that? If the interest is there, absolutely. So, but we'll see what. It has potential, but we'll just have to see what the market will bear, I guess.
Yeah. Well, you never know. Anything can happen, but I think you've got it well thought out. I think you've got it planned. I think you've got a great base of where to start your first 3 trips. And I saw that you and Matt and several went out and ran the Kentucky Adventure Trail not very long ago to try to map it out and see how it would go. So you're doing your research, and people know you. You're somebody that can be trusted. It's not somebody that's popped up out of the woodwork and bought an overland vehicle and said, "Hey, I want to go out here and lead people on trails." I mean, you've done it.
Right.
So it's you're somebody that people will get behind, and somebody that we can definitely put out there as saying, "Hey, we know this guy. You can trust this guy, and you'll have a great time. I promise."
And a lot of people don't know this, but I've been a part of the Jeep Jamboree USA Trail Guides at Birds for 8 out of the last 10 years. So I've got experience, working with people and groups and things of that nature. My favorite thing about doing that is, for the most part, most people are, they want to gravitate toward the harder trails and the more advanced stuff. But I was always like, no, I want to work with the people that have the paper license plate still on their Jeep. And I want to work with the people that don't even know how to put their Jeep in 4-wheel drive. Those are the people I want to work with, because personally, I get a lot of satisfaction from the day one on the Thursday or Friday when they line up Friday morning to do a trail, and we're having to explain to them the basics of how to get their truck in 4-wheel drive, when do they need to use low range, when do they not, all these different things that we take for granted because we've been doing it for so long, and to see the way they react on the first trail that they do compared to the way they react on the last trail that they do before they go home is just amazing to me. The excitement, the feeling of accomplishment, they feel like they can conquer the world. And, that's what I want to get from our customers, is, you're not going to be too inexperienced to come on these trips, because our goal is to help you gain that confidence, not only in your driving, learning how to be spotted. There's something to that, I'm not saying that we're necessarily going to teach you how to spot. You may or may not be ready for that, but, to know how to be spotted and to be able to trust somebody, to help you get through an obstacle, there's just something to be said for that kind of stuff. And, our goal is to educate, and we want to educate on anything that we possibly can that has anything to do with overlanding.
Yeah. Well, I think you definitely think you got something going here. It's, on the trip that I went on, there was people spotting. I wasn't nervous at all. They showed me where to go. And then when we got to camp, set everything up while they were cooking, we were talking about it, and we were just going over the day. And some people who had never done that before, they were like, man, I was really nervous on that. And I said, well, there's always people looking out for you. There's people out there watching, making sure that you don't damage anything, that you don't turn over, that you don't hurt yourself. And, that's why they're there. And it's just a peace of mind, and just giving everybody a peace of mind. You're here to enjoy yourself and, take a load off. If you're a newbie, you're going to learn. And the more that you do this, the more educated you will become. And if you're somebody who is a seasoned veteran, this is something that you will go out there and you will just be pampered, because you won't have to dirty all the dishes and clean all the dishes and build the fire. You can just sit down and visit with everybody and share your knowledge with everybody around the campfire. Right. So it's something for everybody. Well, I wish you all the best, Brad. I think I'm real excited. I mean, I'm wearing the shirt. Tony's wearing the shirt. We're sporting the shirt now. We're supporting you, and I think that it's going to be really good. And I really hope, and we got the patches too. And so I really hope that, one day we can get out there and go on one of these trips with you and experience it firsthand. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah. Just let me know when you want to go, man.
Rock on. Well, me and Tony's always up for an adventure, aren't we, Tony? Don't threaten Tony with a what?
Don't threaten me with a good time.
That's right. Don't threaten Tony with a good time, because he loves those threats.
There you go.
Man, we're about an hour and 20 minutes in, so we're gonna have to wrap this up. But man, Brad, I really appreciate you coming on. We have really enjoyed visiting with you, learning a little bit more about you and what you've got going on with the GoXplorUSA. And I really want to come back to this in the near future, especially after one of your trips. And that way you will let us know a little bit more about how it went and your experience doing that. Maybe get some people to comment on it about who went on the trips. I think that'd be great.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. Well, I want to close with this. The people in the community that have encouraged me and reached out to me means the world to me, and I appreciate it. That includes you guys too. I couldn't do this without that support. There's been times where, with any business, you get frustrated. You're like, "Oh, I'm doing this," and then somebody will come up and say, "Hey, man, this is, just really give you some encouragement." And you're like, "That's why I'm doing it." Because, I want to help people, and I want people to enjoy what we enjoy, and just make it available to people. And, that's the goal, and we'll see what happens, man.
We'll see what happens. I guarantee you it'll be good. Be good. Well, I hope everybody has a wonderful week. Tony, I hope you have a great week and get a bunch done on your trailer, buddy.
Thank you. Look forward to seeing you this weekend.
Yeah, this weekend, Natural State Overland Bonfire is up at Mulberry Mountain, Friday through Sunday. I hope everybody is able to come up there and support them. We love our friends from Natural State. That's our home. That's our home turf, and so we want to support them every chance we get. But I hope everybody has a wonderful week. It's only Tuesday. We got 3 more days to go. Tomorrow's Hump Day, and I hope you have an amazing, amazing week. Live the best life while you still have time. Look out for number 1, and don't step in number 2. Go Hawks. Join us next week.
Same bat time, same bat channel. Boom.
BROfessor and Friends 2022. Woo-woo.
Thank you for watching.
BROfessor BATS and Friends.
BROfessor BATS and Friends.
BROfessor BATS and Friends. Ka-chow.
Enjoy the BROfessor and